Hi everyone, welcome back to PedTalkz, and this is my review of Southampton and Chelsea. So, what can I say? I told you this was a series of ups and downs supporting my beloved Chelsea, and today was another example of just a really disappointing performance. And there were a number of reasons why we lost this game, but principally we just seemed very soft, and we're unable to cope with teams that are well organised, physical, and essentially outrun us. On paper, Southampton are an inferior team, with all due respect to them, and the team we put out together, albeit 3 changes from the weekend, was more than enough to cope with a team of Southampton's calibre. So in comes Ziyech up front in the 3, alongside Raheem Sterling and Havertz, 3 in midfield. With Mount, Ruben Loftus-Cheek and Georgie, and then Aspi coming in at right back and Koulibaly returning from suspension. In the middle with Silva and Cucurella at left back. Mendy in goal, of course. So, look, I don't want to be superstitious, but I wasn't overly confident today. I felt that Tuesday, it came too quickly after the weekend and we need a little bit more recovery. I don't think we had a particularly good pre-season, and we just look a bit rusty. And I was proved right, ultimately. So we started the game, trying to get possession. I think Southampton were their usual sort of rambunctious self and trying to cause us problems, break up play. And the play was fairly fractious. Eventually, we got some, a foothold in the game and started to dominate. And that culminated in our first goal with Sterling's 3rd in 2 games, which, look, I can't complain. The lad's been superb since he's come in. And clearly, he's going to be a great acquisition for us. So long may he keep scoring. Great interplay with Havertz and Mount. One of the few moments of quality that we demonstrated in the game. Mount squared into the box, slight sort of melee in the middle. Raheem took control, span around, put the defender on his backside and then rolled it into the net. And, off he goes to celebrate with the Chelsea fans. All is well in Chelsea land. Unfortunately, it didn't last long, and inexplicably, Aspi, who for me looks rusty, isn't the same player that he was, but, let's judge him at the end of the season because he's been such a great servant for the club. And, again, someone that I've got huge admiration for as a person and a professional. But unfortunately, this is a results business, and we're just not delivering at the moment. And these Jekyll and Hyde performances really do need to stop and stop quickly. So the ball comes in from Ward-Prowse, who delivers a great set piece, as we know. Ironically, not his best corner, but the ball comes back out to Aspi, and he just lays it across into the path of an on-rushing Southampton player who is unmarked. He struck it well and came off Koulibaly, and Mendy had no chance. So no complaints with the goalkeeper, but really, we are the masters of our own downfall at the moment, and we really need to sort this out as soon as possible. So, hoping that we can hang on and getting in at half-time, regroup, Tuchel to get into them, and then come out and show Chelsea's true class in the second half. We allow them to score a second and come in at 2-1 at half-time. Again, really out of nothing. They make their way into our box, and the ball is squared into the path of the player Armstrong, who slots away nicely. Again, a slight deflection. The keeper really can't do anything about it. So, look, we take our medicine. We go in at half-time. We regroup and we come out. Listen, we did not put a glove on them in the second half. And again, to me, I'm scratching my head here. On paper, a far inferior team in Southampton. We should be putting these teams to bed, and we're just not able to. The moment we come up against real physicality, organisation, and just a willingness to run, and produce moments of quality, although few, they scored the goals. And in all honesty, they could have scored 3 or 4 in the end, and not really from any sensational play. they just outworked us, and that for me was Leeds-esque, and I sincerely hope that wouldn't happen again, and unfortunately it has. So, you know, we analysed the game, and as I say, there are other reasons why we lost the game. I think a back four doesn't suit us as much as a back three. We look slightly vulnerable, and you know, we just look better suited to a back three, and we need to revert to that. And I think ultimately Tuchel made an error there. Whilst we went 1-0 up, we weren't able to sustain that, and ultimately they ended up scoring 2 goals in fairly quick succession. We are weak, and we need to get rid of these smallish, physically smallish players that we have, that we've accumulated, especially on the wings. You know, Pulisic, Ziyech, etc. We've got rid of Werner, who, by the way, just scored a hat-trick in Germany for RB. Again, you know, clearly not suited to the Premier League and Chelsea's football. But that said, you know, we need to move these players on and get 2 or 3 in the next 2 days in the window, and hopefully we can do that. And let me be very clear. We did not lose this game because we didn't have a number 9 or a focal point. We lost this game because we made individual errors, and we couldn't sustain the physicality required to beat Southampton today. And it was well deserved on their part. So I've got absolutely no issues with them, with refereeing decisions or anything of that nature. The only thing I would add is that the pitch was particularly poor, and I'm not sure why that should be the case. I can't think of another pitch in the Premier League that is as poor as that, and the ball did bobble, and it just makes for a poor spectacle. Now, whether Southampton have done that to become more agricultural and harder to beat, I don't know. But conspiracy theories aside, we both had to play on the same pitch, and you know, we were both dealt the same cards. So essentially, it would have made no difference to the result, given the performance of Chelsea today. So where does that leave us? Well, if Arsenal win tomorrow, you know, it starts to look like, you know, we've got a hell of a gap to make up already, and we're 5 games in. So we need to address things quickly. You know, Tuchel, for me, is a great coach, and one of the best coaches we've had in some time, along with Conte and Mourinho. And, you know, we've won trophies under him. And look, we mustn't forget that really has only signed Lukaku in that period, and this is the first window where his targets he's identified we are going to get. And I want to see how, when this window closes, how he beds those in, and then give him an opportunity to get that right and essentially get us in shape again. Because, you know, I looked at Chilwell today. He looks rusty. Again, you know, he's not started. Is that affecting him mentally? Clearly could be the case. Ziyech, as I've mentioned, just not physically strong enough for the Premier League. It's time to get him on the plane and fly him over to Ajax, get a few million quid for him, and reinvest that into the team. Pulisic, unfortunately, again, is not pulling up trees, and he's had more than enough chances to cement his place, and there aren't really any excuses for his performance today. He didn't come in and make the difference. Young Brozier came in, bar a few robust runs early on and showing some promise. His sort of efforts, you know, wilted away, unfortunately, and he wasn't able to be the game changer. Cover came in, and his usual brilliant ball-carrying self, again, still getting back to full match fitness. So, you know, the expectations were low that he could really change the game for us. And in essence, we just didn't have the firepower on the bench, or the guile, or the determination or the quality to get us a result of some form. Even a draw would have been a robbery today, if I'm honest. So, look, fair play, Southampton. We move on. We remain positive. Let's get this window closed in the next couple of days with a couple more acquisitions. Let's definitely get a number 9 because we will need a focal point. And indeed, let's ship out those players that don't want to be here. Up the Chelsea. Let's make it happen and see you again soon.